So let's get to it. A big part of your job, and I think will be super helpful for people to hear, is understanding how AI can actually help your employees, help the teams across Walmart. I've been to Bentonville. It is a huge operation, even in Arkansas alone. So maybe to start and to help kind of level set for those who only know Walmart from, going to the stores or shopping online, tell us a little bit about how your team has been implementing generative AI behind the scenes across the enterprise, and what some of the best use cases have been so far.
Yeah, sure, Sam. Great to be here. Thanks for being here, all of you. At Walmart, if you look at Gen AI, it almost seems like it touches every area that we operate in, right? But we have 5 major focus areas. One is customer experience. The second one is associate productivity. Very important. We're a people-led, tech-powered company. Operations, there are immense opportunities over there as well to apply Gen AI. That remains a focus. And content enrichment is another key area for us. And last but not least, developer productivity.
Yeah.
As a people-led company, one of the first things we did was to launch a tool called My Assistant. This is a Gen AI-powered assistant that our associates could use to answer questions that they have about their employment, benefits, or what have you. And this has been rolled out to 13 countries. 50,000 associates are using it. About 1.5 million queries have been fielded so far, and the usage continues to improve. And by the way, this is something we launched just a couple of months after all the buzz around ChatGPT and so forth. So we are one of the early adopters of Gen AI technology. And it's one more example I will give you on the shopping side, customer experience side. We have launched a shopping assistant on our site who loves to interact with e-commerce applications, e-commerce sites, like a computer. If you want to look for a toy for a 10-year-old girl, we are trained to say toy, girl, 10-year. You almost become computer yourself in interacting with the computer.
Yeah.
And what the shopping assistant does is to allow you to interact in a more natural language fashion. You could ask full sentences and so forth. Now we are experimenting with it. We've launched it in beta. It'll see widespread sort of adoption and evolution next year.
Awesome. I guess then, I have heard from so many companies or consultants who are still even concerned today about how to implement AI, and especially generative AI, into their back-end systems, right? They are worried about proprietary data being sucked in. They're worried about employees being able to access confidential info that maybe they shouldn't be able to access. You name it, they are concerned. Walmart was an early adopter, to your point. Walk us through that decision and kind of what you all were considering when you were weighing, okay, should Walmart, one of the biggest countries in the world, I keep saying country, it's a company. Could
Maybe
be a country.
With 2.1 to 2.2 million
it could be a small
people,
country.
associates.
Right,
It almost feels like that.
Right. But what went into that decision?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a fair question.
Yeah.
It's one that I hear a lot. But I think the possibilities with Gen AI are so immense that I think we need to move fast, but do it right as well. Not doing it right could potentially cause huge reputational damage and could result in disastrous results for any company should sensitive information leak out and so forth. One of the things we do is we are a people-led company. Everything that we do is grounded in our sort of purpose, mission, and values. And what we did was early on, we assembled a team consisting of digital citizenship, privacy experts, information security experts, and so forth, technologies included, in figuring out what would be the framework to sort of evaluate these technologies, these applications that people might be building pretty soon, and how would we evaluate them, how would we test them, how would we look at the data, how would we look at the purpose of those tools, and what mechanisms would we put in place to ensure that when the applications are actually delivered, that they're doing the right thing.
Right.
So to that extent, being a tech-powered company, one of the first things we did was to create a platform called Element AI that allows you to sort of embed best-of-breed large language models in it, and at the same time allows you to sort of automatically take care of a lot of the privacy, information security considerations as well. And the tool also allows you to deploy to any target environment, whether it is on-prem, cloud, etc. So it is a very powerful tool, homegrown, that brings best of breed technologies together and allows us to customize the way we do things and allows us to move fast.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, and this is not on my list of questions I sent you. So if you don't have the numbers, that's okay. But I'm sitting here, and I'm remembering that Walmart is known to consumers as a giant retailer, but you all are also a huge tech company, right? I would love to hear a little bit about the breakdown of the team that you oversee, like how many people are working on this and what that kind of looks like.
It's actually hard to say how many people are working on it. So we have about 25 to 30,000 global tech associates.
Yeah.
Out of that, maybe 20 to 25,000 are actively engaged in development. And this is worldwide, both in the US and in our markets, where we have a large international operation as well. And pretty much everything that our teams are touching now involves machine learning, some way of Gen AI, and so forth. Yeah. So it's hard to say how many people are working on it, but we have hundreds of data scientists across the company, both in technology and in business. And we have hundreds of developers, thousands of developers engaged in building machine learning tools and machine learning applications and Gen AI applications.
Totally, which helps you all to be able to deploy this quickly, build this quickly, things like that. So for any company that is sitting here going, oh my God, why haven't we done this? Walmart is a bit different here. I guess I'm curious then, over the last year and a half, 2 years of experimenting with this within the enterprise, what has surprised you about the ways employees are using My Assistant and some of the other applications you just laid out?
Yeah, I think, and honestly, what excites me is the sort of the excitement that people have and how they are diving into it head first, right? So early on, this is right after ChatGPT was released, and we were having a conversation with our business partners, and one of the finance persons was talking about prompt engineering, right? So that was exciting to me. So when is the last time a finance person talked to you about Java programming or C++ programming, right? So it is in some ways it's captured the imagination of everybody, and everybody sees the opportunity, so they're jumping in. When you look at our technologies, like I said, we have early adopters even before ChatGPT, Gen AI became a thing. Our developers were already using transformer models. Now, many of you know that sort of is the foundational model that made Gen AI a possibility. And we were using that for natural language processing, for other applications that deal with sequence of data, for example, like forecasting. And we've always used this. But what's exciting is now how the rapidity with which people are experimenting. Yeah. I was in our Sunnyvale office about a month ago when few developers grabbed me ad hoc and said, Sravana, I want to show you something we built, cool. And I'm like, I'm running to a meeting, and here these guys grabbed me. I couldn't say no. And what they showed me was how the system can automatically figure out accessibility gaps and create the fixes for them, create PRs for developers to review and accept. Now that's, as someone who chairs our Accessibility Leadership Council, I could not ask for more, right? And so it's pretty exciting development.
Totally, and I realize we only have a few minutes left. So sad. But I guess maybe one of my last questions, I'm curious about what the future looks like. I'm asking as if we have a crystal ball, but maybe for the purposes of this question, let's pretend that we do. If we're having this conversation again in a year on this stage here in San Francisco, what do you hope we're talking about when it comes to the applications for generative AI?
Yeah, this whole field is rapidly evolving
Yeah.
as we all see it. So it almost feels like the future is now. So things are happening as we speak. I mean, some of the things that we've seen, the large language models have gotten bigger and better. Now more human-like reasoning is possible through these models. We've seen multimodal sort of capabilities like audio, video generation, and so forth. We're seeing emergence of interesting applications like AI tutor. I saw a video on Conmigo, which is pretty exciting. So the possibilities are endless. But I think if I were to name a few things, I would say agentic AI is going to be a big thing.
Totally.
How we sort of package your logic based on using prompt engineering and create these agents that go out and do work, and how they collaborate with each other and get better. So that's one area I think it's got a real application in business. The second one I would say would be the creation of sort of vertical models based on certain foundational models, right? So it's like having multiple experts sort of do different pieces of the problem. So one person is good at one thing, the other person is good at another one. So that sort of a vertical AI model development is something that we're going to see more and more. The tools will continue to evolve, and you touched on that earlier on as well. And I think one more thing that will happen is especially in companies such as ourselves, in Walmart, the business teams, technology teams, product teams, they become closer and closer. They would come together as smaller teams that have an idea, solve problems, iterate very quickly, and create a lot of innovation.
Totally. Well, unfortunately, our time is up. So, Sravana, thank you so much for being here with us